here we are at the shop again today. We got the school coming again. We're gonna do a little demonstration for them. They come, they like to see what we do. We walk around, well they walk around, we talk to them. We show them how to cut some of the cuts. We show them how the grinder works, stuff like that. Basically what we're doing this morning is we're getting everything ready and set up. And when the school gets here, we will do some recording. I don't know what kind of footage I'll get. They were here yesterday, so I have a video from that. Go back and watch that. And yeah, so let me get ready and help these guys, and then we will return. So we'll see you in a little bit.
This is a hind quarter, I think, and then front shoulder. We'll show them what we do with those. Aaron's got the slip over there. We've already done one hind quarter and one front shoulder this morning. If you guys got any questions, feel free to ask. You guys know what you're doing over here. So, I guess we'll get everything out, and you guys can observe and ask questions. We'll talk to you as we go. All right.
So this is our slip. This is what we start with. Okay. We'll look at it. Have a breakdown of everything that I got to cut. This was working on the 730 old nose. Steak's going to be half inch. They have one their steak. Back straps of the steak. They have one of them in the steak. Hind quarter is going to be both. The other one's going to be steak. Front shoulder, there's stew and grind. They want 4 inch toes. They'll get that one hind quarter. And they want stew 10 pounds. Burger. And they want sweet breakfast, garlic and cheese and lunch. So they want everything we do. We'll get that out. We'll get it out. Get started.
Alright, grab a new tub and I'll take this to show them how to do some grinds. Really good.
A little bit of everything. 15 sweet, 15 breakfast, 10 garlic and cheese. Line all out.
Okay.
I can work with that.
Alright, so this here is hind and that's the forward.
Feel free to take pictures if you want.
Yeah, feel free to take pictures.
You guys want to come around this way for just a little bit more so we can see.
Yeah. Alright, this is that. Go to the vacuum machine. Alright, that'll give you guys more room. So as Aaron sharpens up, he's going to take each piece of muscle off. Those are called primals. Each one has a name. There's a top round, bottom round, high round, New York sirloin, and they call it knuckle or sirloin. And just have it around it. And this has a piece of the inner loin on it too. So he'll start by taking that off. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
You all awake?
For the most part.
Had your coffee? You guys drink coffee? I got a yes over there. Not too many young fellas drink coffee. It's when you start working 50, 60 hours a week. Oh, coffee! And Nick is taking apart the first piece of the front shoulder. That's the primal called the quad. You can get London broiled steaks. People like to make stew meat or jerky meat out of it. Most of the time, we recommend grinding it on a moose because it's kind of chewy. Anybody got any questions? Who here shot a deer? Nobody?
Nobody shot a deer.
Who here hunts? What half? Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
Anybody able to hunt Friday, Saturday, or you guys too old? Just you. At least I give you 2 days this year, right?
I can't hunt Friday.
In my day, I would just get to go hunting.
Like, you can stay home today.
Like play football?
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable. One of the reasons I didn't play football is because it interfered with my hunting. That, and I was about 135 pounds in high school the whole time. I was kind of chicken.
All right, first one is that's your inner once you get it out.
That is one of the most tender cuts are in any wild game, is the inner loin. Real soft. In the beef, they call it filet mignon. We probably call it here too, but we call it inner loin. It's wild game. We don't want to make it sound like beef.
And then this right here, this muscle, you see that right there, that it goes up to about in here. And then on the other half, this is half of the back strap. On the other half that will come out, eventually the top part of the carcass, you'll have your other end of your back strap, which are usually probably this long. I'm in the way.
Yeah, I'll move.
Did this one come in whole?
Yes. Yeah. Usually if they come in quartered, parts of them are in a cooler. Then, I don't know if you guys are familiar with game bags. So you can put the meat in the game bag while you're in the woods. If you ever do run into that, a good recommendation is to skin the piece you're working on and lay it down on the ground and then cut that piece off and put it in a bag. So that way you don't get a lot of debris and dirt and leaves and stuff on your meat. Because that will take away some of your meat. And it takes away the time we can cut it too, because we have to clean the table all the time. Another way to do it would be to put a tarp down. That way you keep it as clean as possible. Once you get the hang of taking these apart, the key to doing it is remembering your bone structure. So like there's certain spots, like right here where Aaron's working, you can just kind of lay the knife down, side flat, and just slice to the bone right along here. And that'll help you get it out quicker and utilize more of the meat that comes off.
When I see a moose or a deer or something out in the field, I can break it all down just by looking at it. Because I've done it so many times. Oh look, there's a back strap. All right, so now I'm going to take off the bottom round.
Cut that seam on both sides and then show them, just get a better picture. Get it down in a little bit so they can see it.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yep. Oh. Walk into the table. Too much coffee.
Remember that video that we watched the other day, how they just take that really small slice, right? They didn't really go in, that's what he's doing right there, to break that mold. And obviously the deer that guy did on the video is a lot smaller. This is a big hunk of meat that he's breaking up.
Right, and some of the muscles, they're all pretty much kind of the same shape. But with a moose, some of these muscles, I'll cut them in half before I cut them in the steaks. Because it just makes it easier for me to make a better steak. Rather than trying to use a knife and cutting something that's this wide, you know, I can cut it smaller. A lot of people that come here seem to enjoy that better because they don't have a giant steak in their pan. They have little steaks and you can manage it better on a plate.
As you can see, there's a seam right here that has all this tissue in the middle of it. And that's always separates every primal muscle on, even the forward quarter and the hind quarter. And once you get your knife sharp, you can just peel that up with your hand and take the tip of your knife and run across it. Your knife will kind of follow that seam too if you're not putting a lot of pressure on it, so you can harden knives without making cuts if we don't need them.
Yesterday we were talking about the knives that they use too. If you find the right knife, and they like these because they're flexible, you can get around bone, not cut into bone, draw your knife.
When you're separating like the hindquarters stuff, that ball that connects it, you can put your knife right in there, bend it a little bit, go around it. If I had a hard knife, I wouldn't be able to do that. It would just ruin the knife normally.
They make several different kinds. They make some with cherry wood handles. They're a little more expensive, but if you're just going to cut your own deer the rest of your life, you know, you could have a nice fancy cherry wood handle. But we go through 1 to 2, sometimes 3 knives a year each with all the stuff we do, so it's better off to buy plastic handles and take some money in the long run.
Cleaner too.
What's that?
Cleaner too, probably, or easier to clean the handle.
Yeah, easier to clean the handle.
Where do you buy them from?
I buy them from a website on Webstaurant. I buy them by bulk, a minimum of 12 at a time. And I usually, think I paid $12.47 a piece or $13.47 a piece this year. If you buy themselves, they can be up to $20, $25.
That's what I paid for mine, the personal one.
Which still isn't that bad for a knife. You can spend a lot of money on a knife.
And a good knife will make your job a lot easier. That's for sure.
This one's being more of a pain than normal.
The thing that always impressed me and impressed everybody else today, when this meat, look, you can see this, got all sorts of like silver skin and connective tissue. When that meat goes from this table here to be able to vacuum seal, it's perfect. There's nothing, there's never any fat, never any hair. It's just good, clean, quality meat.
Yep.
So here you got your bottom round, and flip it over, you got your eye round.
You said 4 hours to do a moose, typically?
Right.
Typically, yeah.
Typically 4 hours, 45 minutes to a deer. So that's perfect. And a lot of people that do it on their own take 4 hours plus to do it,
Yeah.
I would say. On average.
On average, yeah. I know a guy who did his own moose this year, and it took him, his wife, and one other guy that's worked here off and on, who cuts pretty good, a day and a half to get it all done. Which we wouldn't make any money if it took us a day and a half to do a moose. Might as well go out of business.
Here you get your sirloin. And then
I don't know if some of those big meat processors up in the county are still, I don't know what they do, but I know that years ago there was a lot of bandsaw work, and they just cut out, you literally would have a moose steak that would be like this big.
Yeah.
And you have bone in it, and bone fragments, just ruin the taste.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they do myself, but I know this is the way I was taught when I was younger, and we was always taught quality over quantity, because you want to take the steak out of your package and be able to put it right in your frying pan and not have to cut anything off it or pick hairs out or anything like that. Especially if you're ice fishing and your hands are cold and you're hungry. You know, you want that to cook fast and quick.
How'd you get to become a meat cutter?
Well, in the 70s, my family used to shoot a lot of deer, so I learned at a young age how to skin. And then by the time I was 13, 14 years old, I was already on the steak table cutting up steaks.
and this here is your top round.
And then as I got older, I did a variety of jobs and ended up working in a grocery store, learning how to cut what I call box cow. It comes like this, and then you clean it up and cut it in steaks. And then I did that for 12 years and decided to open this business 7 years ago and never looked back.
And my meat cutting started at, I worked at Bears for a bit, and then I got done with there and I worked at the mill for a while. I hated working at the mill. I was a steam boiler operator. And then I knew Kenny, and then I came here and started doing a little work here, and like he said, never look back.
Right? Once you get into this, if you're really into it, this is one of them jobs you either like it and you want to do it all the time, for, you know, like the short season we have, or you don't want to do it at all, because there's really not much in between. But it's personally, meat cutting is a really good career to look into, whether it be wild game or in a grocery store or working for like Wisters or somebody bigger like that, cuts cows and goats and pigs all season long. It pays well. A lot of the places have really good benefits. Something to look into. You don't need a lot of education to get into meat cutting. I know I kind of wanted to go to college, but then I didn't want to go to college, so I learned a lot of trades that are available in Maine, and this is one of the trades that you can always depend on. No matter where you can travel the world, and once you've learned how to cut a cow, cut a pig, anything like that, you can do it anywhere. So now Aaron's got all the important primals off. The rest of this will be turned into burger. It can be stewy, but it has a lot of gristle in between the muscles. And when you cook that, you'll have a lot of gristle pieces at the bottom of your stew. Who wants to eat that? And then the rest of this we'll trim up as close as we can, and then that'll go out on the trailer to feed the coyotes.
Kenny, not like me.
Once you get confidence, you can be like Aaron. And Nick, he's just going away at it, making a big pile for hamburger. And I think we did all the stew that this guy wanted already, so that'll be turned into all hamburger. Moose burger, not hamburger.
It looks overwhelming for him, but once we get everything else done, I'll come back over here and help him do the burger and all that, get caught up.
Alright, so I'll show you guys a little bit about grinding. Alright, got it. Huh, I see that slip. So on this slip here, grinds are burger, bacon burger, and sausage. So I circle what they want and the amount of pounds per sausage, per bacon burger. On a moose, there's usually 30 plus pounds of regular burger. So I always circle 30 and put a plus plus. And when I grind, I always like to do the burger, plain burger, last. And do all your seasoning mixes first. I'll start off with the sweet, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So you want 15 pounds of sweet. So I try to guess around 15 pounds, and I gotta stick through you guys here and put it on the scale.
So you guys, these guys have a process of where they put this stuff in the vacuum seal.
So this stuff weighs 2 pounds, I'm a pound shy. Not too bad for guessing, huh? Come back through again.
So we have this rack. When I do the inner loins, we put them on the top, and then we put the back strap here. This will be steak and roast and so on. We have this other one. During deer season, we get really busy. If we do another animal, if they're still working on the white one,
Has to be dry rack.
on the yellows, so we don't get mixed up, so we know who's the who's. With moose, we tend to stick on just one animal at a time because there's so much. You don't want to mix anybody's, animals together.
Alright, so when you first start your grinder in the morning, you always want to make sure everything's tight, which I watched them do this morning. So the pieces, all these are the add-on pieces here, and if it's not tight, it won't grind right. And before you start it up, you always want to put some meat down in there so your metal isn't grinding metal to metal all the time. Even though it's made for it, I still like to have that meat in there to prevent any damage or something like that. All plugged in. Pull the switch. And just feed it. Nick, you pass me the plunger?
Already had it
You're
prepared.
That's a handy dandy tool to push the meat down in case it doesn't go all the way down the throat. So I said we were gonna do the sweet. Here we have breakfast, garlic and cheese that goes with it. Maple, this is sweet, and this box is hot. You can see all the flakes and stuff in it. This is one of my favorites. And the garlic and cheese is my other favorite. This is a package of seasoned, those are 25 pounds of meat. I like to just say it does 20 pounds, that way they get some good flavor to it. So we got 15 pounds, so I'll probably use just about all of this.
That's one of my, I had garlic and cheese done, and then also some maple, trying the maple, I haven't tried that before. So.
I like to put a nice coating on top of it. Try to get all the top meat covered with a good layer. And see, I use about half of it there, and then I'll flip it over. Kind of mix it in a little bit. And I'll put the rest on. I use about 3/4.
I just smiling today.
Yeah, why not? You said my eyes were closed yesterday. I don't even
Yesterday, I was like, I have to post this picture, but I didn't have a backup, so. It's kind of an interesting knife right there.
So then I
All
take,
the stuff off the bone.
stir the stuff up real
Really
quick.
use this knife because it's a
Try
little
to get
bigger.
all the pieces
So I can
so
get
you don't
under the
see any
piece of meat
powder.
and just trim across the bone.
I think you're right, it does tend to smell a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
Deer,
Not as gamey.
right, deer have that gamey smell. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the scents that they use for deer hunting. That's what a deer smells like when it comes in most of the time. Pretty right. All right, if you guys let me get through here, I'll show you the vacuum sealer and how we run that.
When the deer sit in that cooler for like a week or so, when they come out here, they actually have a smell that I actually like the smell of it. It totally changes. I can't even explain the smell, but you can ask Kenny. Like you're cutting it, and you just know when it has that smell that it's going to cut so beautifully, and it's ready to go. You know.
Yep, for sure. Like I say, what I like to do is
I'll take that, Brad.
I like to do 4 bags at a time in the vacuum sealer. I keep a count, like sometimes this whole table will be full of trays, and I'll bag up 4 at a time, I'll vacuum seal 4 at a time. And then when I get down, and if I got 7 left, then I'll vacuum seal 4, and then 3. I try to always keep at least 3 in the vacuum sealer at all times, so we're not wasting time, you know what I mean? So we'll show you how to do these 4. So once you put these in, this bar has to flip down. That holds pressure on the plastic bags, vacuum bags, so it will seal. If you leave that up, the bags won't seal at all. You'll have to redo it. I found out the hard way several times. You get moving along here, you get a good rhythm. There's a lot of meat over here, you'll be staying real busy here. Before you know it, it's 2 o'clock, and you're like, how'd that happen? So then, with this vacuum sealer, all you gotta do is keep your fingers and clothing out of the way. Close the lid, and it does the rest for you. So you sit here and wait. You can see it has a cycle that will run through. I've got it set for 20 seconds, and I don't remember the pressure setting. I want to say it was maybe 60 or 80. So it gets it tight, but it's not sucking all the juice out of the meat as well.
Trying to get him to buy a cube steak.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. You guys have tube steak before? Cube steaks, you take it from that real tough piece of meat, and it runs it through, and it like makes it super thin. So you just like throw a little bit of marinade on it, and you just basically flip it over one side on the grill, let it sit for a second, flip it to the other side, or put it in the pan. It makes a real tough piece of meat.
Yeah, like I was talking about the front shoulder steaks on the moose, that would be the ones that I would use because they are the toughest. And when you use a cube, you put the meat down through one, and and then you spin it the other way, put it down through again, because it makes a crisscross pattern, and the meat kind of opens it right up. I don't know if you guys have seen them in your grandmother's silverware drawer, but there's either a wooden or a metal hammer with little points on the end of it. Well, that's basically a cuber. I'm going to buy a mechanical one, so I don't have to sit there and pound it, but it does the same thing. So from here, I always flop those open first. We are doing sweet sausage. This here is a list of everything that we do on a moose. I haven't added Smart yet. We don't get a lot of those. These numbers are punched into the scale, and then you get PLU, and that'll tell you what it is. So like right now, it's on moose hindquarter steak. Get a look at that. So we need sweet sausage. So 311 PLU. So what I always do is grab one, throw it on the scale, I pull my other two out, and then if I got more, I grab the 4 more that are here and I keep my vacuum sealer running all the time. I can always come back and label at the end of the day. The key to getting this done and productive, this thing has to be running as much as possible. So I don't care if I got 50 packages over here to put a label on. As long as this is running, the meat's getting done in time, it's getting vacuum sealed while it's cold. That gives a better quality meat, and we can get it in the cooler almost the same temperature it was when it came out.
You can feel that, this stuff right here.
How long is that good for in the freezer? Couple
So,
years?
I've eaten vacuum sealed meat that's been in the freezer for 5 years. Yeah, no freezer.
I just gave a package of 21 stuff that you did for me.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine in Bradford, it was one of it, was perfect. It looked perfect when I gave it.
Yeah, vacuum sealing's the way to go. I'll pass this around, and you can see these bags have a little rip corner, so if you want to get into it, you just rip that down. They're double sealed, and then you can take a look at our label. The date that it was done, what it is, how much it weighs.
Buzz, I know it's got room for it, I've been using a knife to cut it open.
I told you that when you know. So now you know.
Now I know.
And G.I. Joe said that's half the battle.
That's right.
And this scale prints automatically. Sometimes it doesn't like to. And I'll hit the print button, because I like to go fast. He's checking the weight out of the roast, because we like to do between around 3.5 to 5 pound roast.
This one's 4, so I'm just gonna leave it.
Yes, walk outside and there's a porta potty right out the other way. You'll see it on there, and your head back toward the van. So everybody's gotta use the porta potty right outside.
Here, what I do is I put all the meat in the box, and this is box 2 for their Andy Quark. Now, we always make sure it's right on the box. That way, none of the meat gets confused. If you guys want to take a look at the cooler, you can see yours right to the left, and the one we started to the right, right on the floor.
I bought that one up there on the shelf.
Yeah, that's a different one. I have one like that that's made by AccuSharp.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, this works better than that one.
Yeah.
I bought that one and Kenny goes, yeah, shit, told you you should have bought the cheap one.
Yeah. No, the AccuSharp that I have is just like that one there. The good one here, you I can't find it anymore.
Problem I have is that tip of my knife's always bent from taking the joints apart.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Even though it's flexible, it's still bad.
You're probably always doing it the same way. Right.
All right.
Feel free to take pictures of it, like the card and the pricing. Yeah, you decide that you want to, you get it here and you don't have the capabilities to do it at home, call in. So like, I'm having my roof is gonna be like this, I'm not gonna have a whole mouse, it's just too expensive to install. It's a beautiful animal, and don't get me wrong, I'm so proud of it. If I want to mount one, it isn't always around people that want to show and they use the guy that does the beetles. So the beetles go through all the brain matter, everything out of the skull. I've had them done before we boil them, you can boil the skull. When you boil the skull, it ends up all the nasal bones and everything break down, you can see it. The beetles, you can see all the really fine nasal bones.
Oh, it's a tick, I can know something.
All right, so if anybody's hungry, that box of donuts is for all you guys. Help yourself. Dig right in.
Rory's like, I'm not gonna be the first, but I wanna be the first.
You don't need them, I'm gonna.
Go ahead, vultures.
Guys, you know, ladies are supposed to be first.
They were just getting one for them.
Ah.
Clears a path.
So they
I'm old
so
school.
this-
I've always
this,
said ladies
group
get
here,
served
I
first
got,
and all that, you know.
variety. I got some scouting kids,
On the top.
I have a variety of kids from all over.
I
wish I had a class like this. It's like me and my friends, this would have been fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm doing, I mean, stuff that I, the feedback that I get, is on my Facebook page. It's so much. I had a guy call me from New Hampshire yesterday, that heard about what we're doing. He wants to know how he can do it.
I'm hearing you.
These kids are going, as a teacher, there's a guy that's teaching in New Hampshire, that's doing what I'm doing, but he's not doing this.
Yeah.
And he wants to know how. So look, these kids on Tuesday next week, Monday, the kids you saw them yesterday, they'll be in Monday, and these kids on Tuesday are gonna be in Augusta. Now, the shooting range is so big.
Yeah, it's definitely
State of Maine,
But it's gotta be done.
42 long rifles,
Right back here.
pistols, on the crossbow here. We're taking them down. They're shooting.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
I see everybody's mouthful now. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Now go ahead, Nate. I was just kidding.
Second. I might have to have it back up.
You sure your hips are gonna like that?
Lubrication.
Ah, I
That's
see.
right.
So as you guys are eating, I'll give you a little bit about mainly what I do when the first come in. So with the moves, as you can see behind this young fella, there's a winch. I'll have the people back up to my doorstep and we'll hook onto it and winch it in the door and skin it, hang it up and send it into the pool. With the deer, there's a wheelbarrow out there. I have people load the deer in the wheelbarrow and bring it in. And last year and the previous years, we had to weigh every single deer that came in here for the price sheet that I had. I changed that this year, so I only have to weigh deer that are around 100 pounds. Because you see our price sheet, we go from 0 to 100 pounds, from 101 to 200 pounds, and 201 and over. So I can look at a deer most of the time and tell you what it weighs within a pound or two once I get going. But I'll only weigh the ones that are close to 100. That way people can either pay the price for under 100 or over 100. And that helps me out in the long run because I got to skin everything before it goes in the pool. But a deer, I'll skin right there. My fastest time is 4.5 minutes. I average 6 minutes when I skin a deer. There's a certain way I do it. I originally learned to do it from the hind quarter down. Now I kind of do it from the front shoulders up. So by the time I get to the tail, and I cut the tail off, I just grab that skin, and I peel it, and it goes right down around the neck, and I just cut it off. So it makes it a lot faster, and a lot easier when the deer are warm too. You get cold deer in, you can still kind of feel it, but you have to be a little more careful because that tendons that hold the skin to the muscle will pull some of the meat off. So, any questions?
How many deer do you get a year?
We average now over 300 a year. We started out year one. I had a little tiny mini barn over in this corner and a truck body over here. We did 69 that year. We jumped up to 96 the second year. I had this building here with no insulation, but it was waterproof. So we were cold, but we got it done. The third year, we kind of finished it off a little bit. We jumped up to 137 critters altogether. Then after that, it's been over 300 every year. This year, with the crew we got, I'm expecting we could probably do 350 or 400 as long as we don't get overtired. But we all work pretty good together. We have a good time. We like to talk about football, hunting. We like to pick on each other. You guys know how it is. I don't know if girls do that or not. What guys do, we like to make fun of everybody.
In here, you gotta watch what you say because you might set yourself up for the rest of the day.
Yeah, if you say one bad thing in here, you're not gonna live it down for the end of the day.
Or the
Sometimes
year.
the next day.
And I did
Or the
want to say,
season.
Yeah.
about the moose. Us three right here can do. We can have a moose skunned, quartered, and in the cooler in like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
We're pretty fast at it. Get better.
Yep. Sometimes I do them myself because we'll have a bunch of moose in here and we kind of like pressure it a little bit. So they'll help me get it in the door and then I'll skin a moose myself and I can average 40 minutes to an hour depending on the size of the moose myself. But once you get it, like I said earlier about the bone structure, when you're skinning an animal, it's not about the bone structure, it's about the muscle structure. So you memorize that muscle structure, where the grooves and tricks of getting in there and where the skin kind of overlaps the muscle. You remember all that stuff and you get good at it. Repetitive things make you better at it.
The hardest part's usually where the front shoulders come down to the neck. That's usually the hardest part to do without slicing too much into the animal itself.
I'd like to see you do your skinning.
What's that?
I'll have to swing by and see you do your skinning here.
Yep.
To see you go from the bottom up.
Well, it's real easy to explain. So if I was a deer upside down, I start right here and I make a slice right up through, right to where the people launched it out. If they're going to cape it, I go straight up. And if they're not going to cape it, I go right to the cut on both sides. Then I open the skin up around this area here and this area here. And then I peel the skin back almost to the back strap, the backbone. Then I'll lower the deer down because I utilize my winch. I don't like to bend over and work. So I'll raise the deer up till I can work on it here or lower it down till I can work on it here. So then what I'll do is peel up around the hindquarters, just like I did on the front shoulders. Get it down to the tail. On a smaller deer, you can use your knife and a little bit of pressure, cut the tail right off. On a bigger deer, it's a little hotter, so I get the sawzall out. And get her off real quick. And then from there, I raise the deer up so I can grab the tail, like right about this height, and just grab both hands and peel right down to the neck. And then you may have a little bit around the neck to get down before you cut the head off, and it's all done.
You ever think about it as far as like mechanical, like putting an anchor in the floor and then hooking and then using your winch to skin it?
I thought of that, but I think it would take me more time. I think switching things around, hooking things up would take me more time than just going right at it and getting it done.
Might have to do that when you get older.
Maybe. We'll hire one of these young fellas to come over and do it.
If you'd like, I can make you a whole video of him doing it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to see. Because I've taken mine and I go from this, I start up at the top and then just get, but it's hard, you gotta get that, you really need to do that cut in here first. Because if you get everything down around there, you're cutting a lot of hide and
Yes.
it's miserable.
I've done a lot of videos of things we do around the meat room on YouTube.
Yeah, I did it your way for a long time. When we started getting busy, I realized I needed to learn some faster ways to do things. So I, like you said, looked up on YouTube, and I watched this Oriental fella skin a deer in a minute. He was whipping knives around. I'm like, I ain't doing that. And I watched what he did though, and then watched 4 or 5 other people do deer in a faster way than I did, and I combined all their videos to make it what's easier for me. Any questions?
All set, guys? Yeah, well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming over.
We get a lot of I was telling these guys, we get a lot of feedback. I had a guy call from New Hampshire yesterday that's doing an outdoor leadership program that wants to touch base with me and figure out what all the things that I'm offering and how I do it.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
people are reaching out. I had a couple years ago, somebody from New Brunswick wants to know how we're getting kids to the shooting range and how we're doing all those things.
Yeah, it's good to get you guys involved with stuff like this. These are life learning lessons that would help you in the long run if you wanted to harvest your own meat. If, so to speak, end times came around, this is stuff you probably should need to know, you know? Because a lot of people wouldn't know what to do with a deer if they got one. They look at it and say, well, I'll just cut chunks of meat off it. Maybe by chance they got a good tender piece, but most of the time they're not got unless it's cut right.
My wife's actually going to do some pressure cooking.
Yeah.
Because I grew up without any cool, I didn't have any refrigeration, so anytime that we had a moose or deer, we didn't have any moose, we had deer. You had to sit there and you got to put it in cans, and then it creates its own gravy. You'll open that up, you warm it up, you pour it over potatoes. So
Yeah, canned meat is definitely the way to go if you know how to can meat. It's so more tender, it lasts a lot longer in a jar than what even in a vacuum seal bag. If you run out of power and everything's frozen, you only got so much time before you can eat it all up. In a canning jar, you got years before you have to eat it.
I wish I had pictures of my mom's pantry.
I know.
She has shelves of, she does everything, all the canning, she does freeze drying, she does all that. She has a really nice room that she keeps everything in.
well, thank you. I will, I'll come over tomorrow afternoon.
Yep. That'll be right there, cooling out, chilling.
I'll come tomorrow afternoon. I'll be, I have my daughter's field up for the day, so I didn't push it.
Yep.
I'll be over there, grab that, rearrange my freezer, and go to my parents and drop off some more, and
Yep.
have to start eating a bunch.
Yeah, the boxes are heavy, so I'll carry them out for you. I don't want you to hurt the rest.
Okay, I can still have one good after.
You can't carry that box in one arm, I'll tell you that. I do notice though that that's normally, your moose is normally a 4.5 box moose. And by not using the trays, we got it there in 3 boxes. And added 20 or so pounds per box.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm guessing you got around 320-ish pounds of meat maybe.
Yep, good deal.
We take what we can off it. Obviously, we're not gonna get it all. If you guys did your own at home, you could take the time and scrape it right down to the bone if you wanted to. But by the time you take that off, you may get a 5 to 10 extra pounds off of moose, maybe 3 to 4 pounds off of deer. Personally, I don't feel it's worth it. But that's up to you guys. If it's your own critter, do it how you want to do it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for coming over.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of your day at school.
In there. Hunter safety, a lot of hunter safety cards by Brett.
Oh, sweet. That's awesome.
Crossbow and archery, but next year.
That's great.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Go shoot a deer. That's not good.
The school, they came out from Skowhegan, Madison. There was a couple of homeschooled kids, but they're trying to get the kids more involved with hunting and recreational stuff like that. I guess from what the teacher was saying is that he's taking some coming up soon for all those kids. They're going to get to go down and to the shooting range. You get to do a bunch of shooting and shoot crossbows and regular bows and stuff like that. It's a super cool program for these kids. I really enjoy having them, and so does Kenny and Nicholas, and showing them what we do. They're usually super interested. This group didn't have a lot of questions. I think they were a little bit younger, but it was still fun to have them. If you watched the video from yesterday, those kids were a little bit older. They had a lot more questions and they were a lot more open. But you know, it's great to see them come in, and it's great to teach what I do here. It makes you feel good inside. But anyways, on top of that, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll see you next time. Keep on naturing. Peace.